Yes, we're back on 67 Hail Hail on YouTube. I am Hamish Carton. Delighted to say that David Walton rejoins me this week. David, how are we?
Aye, good to be here, Hamish. Always glad to be here.
Indeed, yeah, it's a busy week, of course. Big game at the end of the week. We're going to touch on that throughout the week, later on in the week. For now, today's episode, we're going to talk about the weekend win over St Mirren. 5-0 it finished. Goals, Lee Griffiths hat-trick, Odsonne Edouard, and a Callum McGregor penalty as well. It means that we're just a maximum of 5 more victories away from 9 in a row. 5 more wins if we beat them on Sunday, and that's all they're getting referred to all week, them. That'll be down to 3 after the weekend, so we're possibly only 4 wins away from winning the title. It's a massive week, but first of all, what did you think on the win over the Buddies on Saturday?
I love games like that. See the ones where they just everything comes together, everything's just golden. Brilliant performance, exactly what we required going into the game this weekend. Nice wee tonic for not having Europe as well. I think it keeps us ticking over well. The hat trick for Griffiths, of course, superb. He loves those kind of games, doesn't he? Home to St Mirren, it's where you'd expect him to thrive in, and he did. And of course, the signs with the two up front, again, showing exactly why, for me, they should be getting played in every game. I don't think can break that partnership up at all. It is our most dangerous weapon at the club just now. So, as well as that, I thought it was, of course, a general dominance of the game, as you'd expect. A couple of loose passes here and there. I thought, St Mirren had a couple of efforts in goal, but I think you're sometimes in danger of forgetting that it's football. Teams have shots at your goal, you know what I mean? Like Brown said, I think it was last week, they're no robots. But yeah, you can't come out of that game with anything other than sheer delight at the scoreline and the overall performance for me.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a few kind of videos that you've hinted at for later on in the week. We're going to touch on our amazing home record because Jim Goodwin had some great things to say about Celtic and our Celtic Park record. I think that's tomorrow's episode. We've also got a proper chat on Lee Griffiths and whether he should start against Rangers. I think you've already made your feelings on that one clear. In terms of Griffiths in the weekend, he obviously gets his hat-trick. That's him on to 8 goals now for 2020. 11, I think it is, for the season. Really good goals as well. 2 of them anyways. Final 2 were both really good goals. I loved the second one. And he just looks like, we're repeating or going over old territory here, but he looks just a totally different player to what he was 3 months ago. And you almost have to pinch yourself. This is like Lee Griffiths back finally after all of this, false dawns and possibly 1 or 2 games. He's now put, what have we played? Maybe a dozen games since the turn of the year, and he's played the majority of them and he's performed in the majority of them. And 8 goals for a couple of months' work is pretty good going. Yeah,
8 goals in 13, I think it's a really good start. Especially considering, he did have that run before the winter break. I think he had something like, I'm not sure if that's the exact number, but it's something along the lines of 9 sub-appearances and maybe 1 full start against Cluj, and he didn't score or assist in any of them.
Well, I was at that game in Romania, and I remember seeing him that night, and
it looked poor.
That was the moment. He wasn't the only one. There was a few. I remember Sinclair that night was poor as well, and I remember thinking, these guys aren't staking a claim to get in the Celtic team.
In terms of Griffith's situation, it was poor at that stage, and it looked even worse in January. But the way he's come back, it's been incredible. You're right to touch on the quality of the goals. Really, really sharp stuff on it. And you're saying you like the second and third one. I thought the first was brilliant. I loved the movement. Loved the pick out by Edouard. I love those kind of balls that are, for where he crossed it from that position. I love those kind of crosses. Griffiths read it well and timed it to perfection. Second goal was really a lot more like it. Some real quick feet. You're talking about in December, maybe would have ran into the opposition defence or would be stumbled over the ball. But he's looking good. It was St Mirren. It wasn't, the best the league has to offer. But it's a real start. It's been a fine run of form for him. And just having him back in the thick of things solves the striker problem that we were having before December.
Saying all the right things after the game as well. Funnily enough, he did press before the game on the Thursday or Friday, whenever it was, and after the game as well. And he was asked on both occasions whether he feels he's done enough to get a Scotland call up, and he's playing it very cool. He's saying Celtic's the most important thing right now. If I get the Scotland call up for Steve Clarke, I'll be buzzing, but if not, as long as I perform well for Celtic, it won't be too far away.
In my view, he's been so modest there. Who has performed better than him to deserve the call up? I mean, let's just go through them. Eamon Brophy, Ollie McBurney, Stephen Naismith.
Ollie McBurney's too busy tweeting
Aye,
55.
That's it. Ollie Buck. I mean, all these guys, not one of them could I pick as someone who'd be more confident leading the line for Scotland than Griffiths.
Yeah.
And listen, Griffiths' international record actually isn't great, right? But, he's the best pick we've got. And he is a fine finisher. And I think if you give him chances against Israel or Norway or Serbia, take a brave man to bank against them, not pity it.
He's a real, I don't know what the word is. He's a confidence player. Basically, he's the biggest confidence player I've ever seen, Lee Griffiths. And there was a moment in, I think it was the first half in the game on Saturday that really, sprung out for me, when it was just a wee moment when he had the ball. I think Edward was near him, and Edward was maybe looking for the pass, and Griffiths from about 35 yards decided to shoot. Now, nothing came from it. It was blocked out, and I think it went for a throw or a corner. But the fact he was willing to take a long distance shot on for 35 yards, for me, was a sign that, the confidence is returning for Lee Griffiths. And it's only goals that do that. He's a player who thrives on goals and opportunities. And if he's playing like that, I think we need him starting every game between now and the end of the season. I know we're obviously out of Europe now, that's a different question, but when Lee Griffiths is playing like that and he plays so well with Edward, I think that's going to be so big for us for the rest of the season. Any other players kind of spring out for you? I wanted to just touch briefly on James Forrest. Coming for a lot of criticism lately. He's been playing, right wing back in a formation he's not familiar. It's not familiar to him. He's been criticised for his lack of application, going hiding in bigger games. I thought he was really good on Saturday. What do you make of the way the fan base is judging him at the moment?
I mean, I've certainly appreciate what he brings to the team. His stats are terrific. Nobody can argue against that.
I saw someone, sorry to interrupt, someone describe him on social media as the most underrated player at Celtic of the last 10 years.
I think when he leaves the club, we might end up ruining, the way certain elements have maybe treated him at times. I do think some probably look at him, and I don't fall into this camp, but I do think some maybe look at him and think with his ability, he can do more over the course of a 90-minute period. But, he's involved in so many match-winning moments and big game moments. I can see why Lennon loves him so much. For me, I do think there's times where he should be hooked more often. I don't fall into the camp that, he has to be kept on all the time. But he has been a magnificent Celtic player over the period he's been there, and you cannot argue with everything he's achieved individually and collectively. It's been absolutely sublime. But if you're talking about players sort of at the weekend there against St Mirren, delighted to see El Hamed back. I think he's a terrific player.
Won a penalty as well, didn't he?
Won a penalty. I think he had a shot, hit the side net as well. He was involved, and he's just, I love the power he has. He's a big guy, but I think he's maybe a bit deceiving as to how much power he's actually got. Really strong defender. Very aggressive in the tackle as well, which I like in a good way. And very composed, very level-headed. So I think it's a real boost to have him back.
He's been out since Lazio away.
Aye, and you wouldn't have known it, but when he came back.
Yeah, he looked good.
And I know 10 minutes home with St Mirren, it's a lovely sort of fixture to come into. But, I think it's going to be a good boost ahead of the title run and having him back.
Would David Walton start him at Ibrox? Find out on Thursday. Or Wednesday, we'll see.
I can't say it now then.
We'll
I
find
can't
out.
say it now. Right.
Anything else? Obviously, I'll just run through quickly where we are in terms of the league now. I said obviously earlier that we're 5 wins away from the title. That's a maximum of 5. That's if if we lost both derby matches and still won 5 more matches. I saw someone on Twitter saying that we could lose 3 and draw 1 of our last 8 matches and still win the league in goal difference. And goal difference, by the way, I don't know, we've probably all stopped counting because we're so far ahead in points. We're in plus 70, Rangers in plus 45. That's 25 goal difference. Do you remember 2 months ago when it was neck and neck?
Aye.
That just sums it up to me. With 25, goal difference is no longer relevant.
I never like this whole chat about we need 5 wins, we need 4 wins. I think it always starts to get a bit more nerve when you start doing that kind
One
of
at
thing.
a time.
Just, I prefer not knowing how many wins it is away.
How important to you is it that we do this in style? Because last year we won the league and we won it in the end by 9 points, but it was a wee bit touch and go. And I realised Lennon didn't have the power he has with the team at the moment. But I remember last year we could have won it in 3 occasions, and it ended up going down to the 3rd last game.
That's right,
last year it was Aberdeen away. We could have won it, I think, against Livingston. Against Hibs away, we could have won it. We didn't on either occasion, and it was the 3rd time lucky. I'd love to do it. I don't think we're going to do it before the split, but I'd love to do it, first, second at the most game after the split.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to do it as soon as possible. And then if the gap starts narrowing after that, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't, because you'd assume Celtic will start mixing things up with the team and start giving players opportunities. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, football's all about, narrative and perception. And if we do this in style, I think it's a great look compared to if they rain a fair few points in before we get over the line. Granted, in December we're probably talking differently and just talking about winning it at any cost. But the way things have went since, you've got to be looking to sort of power over the line as much as possible. The players don't get paid to take off days, between now and winning the league. So, aye, why not?
And talking of that, a free midweek.
Aye.
Unusual, isn't it? Unusual. First one since certainly the winter break. We've been playing every Wednesday or Thursday night since then. So
all of a sudden it seems such a long way, doesn't it, between our last game and the next one? It's mental. I mean, that's some run the players have been on, though.
You'd rather be playing, obviously, in midweek, but
aye.
And we'll touch on it later on in the week, the benefits it can have, but it would just be weird to think of them resting this midweek and not having
how
to
dare
prepare
they?
for a
I
game.
know, ridiculous. No, listen, it's just one of these things. I think they'll be quite relieved of the rest in the break. Obviously, you go as far in Europe as you can, but not going to sit greeting about it,
Fantastic.
We'll see how we go on. It gives us the best preparation possible for Ibrox.
Exactly, and you can rest as well for a few minutes, only a few minutes, because we've got another 4 videos to do. We're back later on in the week, loads of really good stuff. I've kind of teased at it already in this video. Just give the usual plug. Twitter, we're at 67 Hail Hail. Facebook, search for 67 Hail Hail, or on the website 67hailhail.com. You can read our thoughts as well ahead of the big game on Sunday. And if you've not yet subscribed to our video on YouTube, we'd really appreciate if you do that. And if you want to click the wee bell button, you'll get a notification anytime we post a video as well. It should be every night this week, probably about 5 or 6 o'clock or so. Until then, take care.